Hey, John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I got a question about blogging. I think this is kind of an interesting topic about if you should actually blog, if it could get you fired from your job. So this question comes from Chuck, and Chuck says, John, has anyone asked you about blogging stuff related to work that might be borderline breach confidentiality or perceived by my employer as breaching confidentiality? I was talking about blogging with a coworker today, and he made me think about this a little more. For e.g., the latest blog post on, and I'm not going to put this out here just in case he's concerned about this, but so I won't put the address. If you sent this question and you'd like to put it in a comment, I can put it in the description. But for now, I'm going to assume that you don't want this public of who you are. So was related to a project I recently worked on at my company. I kept our custom app very vague on purpose and just talked about the process and the technical steps I took. I don't see any issues there at all. But still, I haven't talked to my boss about it, and I don't know for sure exactly how he will react. I mentioned to him about blogging before, and he seemed fine with it. He also understands the developer blogging culture really well. Honestly, if he is not okay with my approach of blogging, that means I have two options. One, find a different job that lets me blog about stuff related to work, or two, only blog about stuff not related to work. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Thanks. So there's, obviously I'm not a lawyer, so I have to put a disclaimer on this one because I don't want you to get fired from your job and say, well, John did it, John ruined my life. So I'm not going to give you legal advice, but I'll give you my advice here. So I would say that in general, I wouldn't worry about this, right? If you're taking the proper precautions, if you are not using your company name and the actual source code and the actual thing that you produced, and especially, and even that might be okay for, like, I would clear that with my boss, but if you're not doing it in a negative light, then that you're probably going to be okay there. I've even written somewhat, so I guess I would say if I've written blog posts that are somewhat negative about something that happened at work, I've tried to definitely make it so that it didn't, that it wasn't easily identifiable of the company, and that I wasn't super critical, that I was just pointing out a thing. So it depends on how you do it, right? Obviously, if you write some kind of scathing thing about something that happened at work and how your boss is a jerk, I would probably expect to have negative repercussions from that. But if you're sharing like some technical challenge that you had at work and you're not using the actual code and you're just sharing just in general how this thing worked, or even if it's a specific problem, but you're not like spelling out proprietary information or some kind of trade secret, you're probably going to be okay in general. I think most environments that's going to be fine. If you're super concerned about it, I would just talk to your boss and just but you have to realize that the whole legalistic issue of if you ask this question, you might get told no just because that's the safe answer, right? So you kind of have to weigh that. Personally, I wouldn't ask; I would just do it. And then I'm sort of the kind of person that's like I'll do something and then ask permission later, or I'd rather apologize than ask permission. So that's me. I'm willing to take those risks. For me, a job that I couldn't do that would not be a job I would want to stay at. So that's another thing to consider. I don't know what your situation is. It depends on the person. But in general, you haven't seen this happen very often. Like, I've never gotten an email from someone that said, "Hey, I got fired because I blogged," or "I got in trouble for blogging." And I've helped developers start hundreds of blogs, probably somewhere around 500, 600, maybe 700 blogs, and I've never once gotten that response. So just from an odds perspective, your odds are pretty dang good. So yeah, I really wouldn't worry about it. Again, take the proper precautions. Don't go out there and say bad things about your employer or your coworkers. Don't go out there and spill the details of the exact code and copy and paste the code from your actual projects. Talk about the problems you solve, the real world problems, and the other aspect of this is a company might actually want to. There's a lot of companies out there in the software development field that actually do blog about the real problems and the real code that they have, because they know that attracts talented developers to them. So your company might be interested in that. Maybe you could mention, one good way to approach this without kind of making it so that you bring your own blog into question is to suggest to your employer, hey, what if we had a corporate blog and I started writing some articles for that, and I shared our code and I shared our thing. And if they say yes to that, then chances are writing on your personal blog will be fine as well, even if you never actually do the corporate blog. That's kind of maybe a technique that you could do to not directly be told no and to test the waters. But you should know with the company that you're working at. But again, in general, I wouldn't worry about this at all. I don't have any concerns about it. I've never seen someone get in trouble. Just be smart about it. Don't do anything stupid, and you should be fine. Hopefully that helps you, Chuck. Thanks for the question. That's a good question. I think a lot of people are worried about this needlessly, and so I just wouldn't worry too much about it, and not make a big deal of it, and probably you won't have a problem. So if you've got a question for me, don't hesitate to email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com, and I will try to get you a video response. And like always, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get more of these videos. Take care.